This is Jack again. Okay, so Annu had to derive a scheme, so to say, to lure the Atlanteans into the human physical form. And so he walked up to them, and then he said, okay, he requires beings to integrate into the vessel and to test it out. For a moment they're able to come out again. Now at this time they were still able to integrate into the vessels. This physical form as it exists now didn't exist so extensively, so they didn't have interdimensional access. And the Atlanteans of course agreed. They said, alright, now we'll test it for you. Because he said, unfortunately, his race, so the few that remained, which was actually many, which the Atlanteans weren't aware of, because they were very much content with merely their own existence. You know, if someone didn't come to them, you know, they would remain there. They never really travelled anywhere. Their belief was they required the water, the sound manifestation was water to sustain themselves with. And so were many galaxies' beliefs, many planets, many cities with beings. They had a specific source, which was believed they required to sustain themselves. If they were separated from that source, they would not exist any longer. The same with the Anunnaki. They believed that if they did not have gold, they won't exist. And so anyway, the Atlanteans agreed. They said, no, that's fine, we shall do that. And they said, well, is this now your plan? You'll have the vessels, you'll have your race integrate into the vessels, and your race will do what is necessary to dig up the gold and take it to your planet. And then of course the Atlanteans asked, but what if everything manifests and you're still interdimensional, your planet? What is then the necessity? We don't see a necessity. This is not going to work because we have already agreed that you will not remain on this planet. We're not sharing this planet with you. It will influence both our races, expressions, which is unique and specific. And we cannot allow that. And so they stood back for a moment. Annu stood there and he said, well, at least then I will remain in a physical form. My race will remain in a physical form. And they said, well, are you going to actually manifest into the human physical form? Because obviously if this starts manifesting extensively, you know that you will not have access to this, to your creation, which is the human physical form. Annu smiled and he said, inevitably, I will. I have a plan and I will remain on this planet as the human physical form. I will live infinitely. So, of course, that is quite an interesting observation. So the Atlanteans understood. They said, well, all right. How does that work? So Annu basically said that which exists as this vessel, the entirety of the vessel is me, it's my creation. I will remain inside the smallest essence of what this vessel consists of. I've placed myself in there as me. One day I will return. So the Atlanteans of course asked, how? He said, in the systems that I have placed inside this physical form vessel to have me, my race, move into to be able to manifest into this vessel, to be able to move it, to be able to have it think, to be able to have it speak. Those systems will evolve. Those systems are me. And I will evolve. And I will return. These vessels will manifest me in this world. And my legacy will continue. I will return. If it so happens that that I discontinue to exist interdimensionally, I will remain here on Earth. The Atlanteans, of course, were not pleased. No. Why? Because they knew if they were going to allow this physical human form, that basically what is still happening is that Annu will be taking over this planet. That Annu will be indeed doing what it is they agreed upon to not do. And they weren't satisfied. So they said to Annu, leave. Take your race from this planet and leave. Now, of course, Annu was extensively frustrated. He was angry. And he looked at one of those Atlanteans and he just said to them, I'll be back. I'll be back. And the Atlanteans laughed, of course, because they believed that, the Anunnaki didn't really have any power, per se. And so Annu did what they requested. The race removed themselves from under the earth, took all the gold necessary, and they placed themselves interdimensionally again. Then Annu met with the Syrians, the serpents, the Leviticus. I will explain in a moment their part. And he said to them, this is the situation. I will give you also the opportunity. So now Annu presented the Syrians and the serpents with the once in a existence opportunity. And he described to them his plan for this planet, which is now called Earth, and his plan for mankind. And their part they'll be playing within it as well. Okay, this is Jack. I'll continue in my next interview. Thank you.